Welcome to another episode of Good Soup After Dark. I'm one of your hosts tonight, Jay Gonzalez. Right now we have Morihrihart behind the cameras, but tonight's a little bit different. So as you see back here, there's a sign of where we're at. We're actually over at Love Spell Beauty in Willow Grove, Pennsylvania. It's a tattoo shop that Marie's been tattooing at for about 1.5 years. Big shout out to Roxy and the crew over here. Thank you for letting us use the space. And we'll make sure we include the links to the spot down in the description box below. We're here with a very special guest tonight, my man Meirdy.
What's up, y'all? My name is Meirdy, M-E-I-R-D-Y, and I'm a musician from Wilmington, Delaware. I'm trying to put it on the map, you know, along with the other stars. Shout out to Breeze, shout out to everybody else doing their thing. And I'm just here to have fun, make content, and get out there.
And speaking of content, we got something very special planned for
Yeah, today is gonna be not usual episode, so we have our victim.
Marie, that's your camera right there?
In a way, we have our guest / victim of a tattoo artist, me. We're gonna do a tattoo, and during our tattooing, we're gonna have the interview. What do you think about that? How do you get the,
Nobody doing it like this. Nobody doing it like this. It's here first. Nobody doing it like this. Good Soup podcast. It's family, you know. So gotta take it here first. Celebrate the EP. Celebrate the collab. And let's do it right.
And speaking of the EP and the tattoo, it's kind of going hand in hand here. Do you want to just talk about both real fast?
Yeah. So my EP is called Introspect. It's this character, and it's more like a push and pull situation, kind of like a self-contradicting character. He's chasing after a girl, kind of like a stereotypical situation, you know, love contradicting story. He wants her, you know, she runs away, and then the roles flip, and you'll hear more about it. But it's said to be a darker project to the people that I showed it to, and you know, interpret however y'all want to take it. You know, it's open for any perception, you know.
And the tattoo's being made to commemorate the EP, right?
Yeah.
So it's just the tattoo is just the title of the EP, Introspect, with a nice design twist by Marie herself.
And we work together.
Yeah.
So we work
first
together.
project, my first tape, giving them a little something, nothing too much, but something to show them, you know.
Thank you again for choosing to work with us for this, man. Without further ado, we'll get set up and get going.
Yeah, here we go. And the next shot is just like, ah!
Meirdy, Introspect.
Amazing, beautiful, diverse, like it's tatted on my wrist. Just a creation of experimental music, you know, something. It always starts with how far can I take this song? To what degree should I take it? And you know, why? You know, I always like to think about these questions before I create a song. I always like to let the beat talk to me, and just let it control the direction. It's just an amazing piece, amazing body of work.
And what direction are we taking Introspect?
Like I said before, you know, it's kind of like a dark path. It was kind of controversial to the people that I showed so far. You know, some people said, oh, you know, it's too dark. But I feel like the things that shine the brightest spawn from the darkest places. You know what I mean? So like a diamond, you know where it came from. To understand the beauty of the light, you gotta go through the darkness. And not to be like a Shakespearean or whatever, like I'm different, but I just feel like I like to create something meaningful every time I go in there, no matter what. You know, so I don't like to go in there with the quick, you know, 20-minute song and walk out. I like for my listener to be like, oh, I gotta listen to this again. You know, I can't listen to this just one time. I gotta listen to this again because it requires a deeper understanding. So that's why I have Introspect.
Do we want to get this moment first?
Oh yeah. Let's go.
So Marie's getting ready to start. Let us know how it feels, man, when she does.
Yeah. How it feels?
That was good.
Yeah, it's okay.
It's been a while since I got a tattoo.
So let's talk about a little more about the EP, Introspect. How many tracks?
It's 4.
4 tracks.
Yeah, so I have Fears, which I waterfalled, which is already released right now on all platforms. That's the opener song. When I initially released it, it was more like a interlude, you know, produced by my boy Trill G, the GOAT. But I initially created it with the thought of it's leading to something, you know. I enjoy it. It's also featuring my boy Justin Hawkins, but I was like, it's something missing. So I came back, waterfalled it, which means I just take the single, throw it back on there on the body of work, and then, you know, it returns and people love it. And the song that comes afterwards gives people the gratification they look for last time. And when I listened to it maybe 20 times already, I love it. Love it.
So I know you predominantly rap, but how would you describe like the genre or like how the music is as far as the EP is concerned?
Yeah. So on this piece, I really switched it up. I wouldn't say that I rap. I would say, I don't know, because people like to put in or insert categories. I don't like to say, you know, I'm a rapper or anything. I consider myself more of a musician, you know, just because I sing more, you know, like Anti, you see NDA, it's melodic, and I am rappy on those, but with this project, it's leaning towards R&B, especially when y'all hear the 3rd track, Episode, that's the one. Yeah, and then it goes to Venus/BOTS, which means blood on the surface. That's my favorite song, track 4.
So I got a chance to listen to Fears because, like you said, it's out on all platforms now. It's got kind of like a really dark tone to it. Like, what's the idea behind that?
It's more of initially. So this project wasn't really in mind when I created Fears. I created Fears with the thought of like, if I was a character, who would it be? What would he be? You know, and why? You know. And I always lean towards darker displays, you know, like everything is darker, like my phone display, everything. Just because I feel like it's more genuine. You know, I feel like it's most genuine in darker atmospheres. Because, you know, who am I to go out and try to flaunt and try to, you know, show like the best parts of myself? Like how people go and they post the best versions of themselves on Instagram and stuff. I like to show how vulnerable I can get, you know, because that's the place where I came from, you know. So it reflects my atmosphere, Wilmington, Delaware. It's not a lot of light down there, you know. So if I'm going to be different, I'm going to still make sure I represent my city in a certain way, no matter how it comes, you know.
How important is Delaware and Wilmington specifically to you, and how does that translate to the art that you do?
It's really important because, like I was saying, you got up-and-coming artists like Breeze, my boy Breezo. He be rapping and stuff. You know, like I see the newer generation like me, him, and a bunch of other people. I just like for us to shine and for us to, you know, shine that light that was lost. You know, like you don't see a lot of people coming from that area becoming successful. If they do get a little buzz, they get pulled back down, you know. That's why, like, you see people like Busy Bones, you know, he went to the NBA, and people still hate. But to us, it's big because that's like, you know, that's one of the only routes you can go. So seeing that is just mind-boggling. So it just kind of set the tone for me, like, it's possible. You know, you can really do this to a high degree. Yeah. But that's it. Love my city. Definitely love my city. Love Philly. Love Delaware, of course.
Okay, yeah, we've spoken to a lot of Delaware artists, and like this one theme kind of comes up when we speak to them, and it's like a lot of people don't know the talent that comes out of that.
Yeah.
And I'm not trying to like spill where you are right now, but you're not currently in Wilmington, but it still influences, you know, who you are, who you're around.
Right.
What other things can you tell us about that influenced your art? Like where you came from? Like when did you start getting into the music?
I've been getting into music, like actually creating, like recording. So I would say maybe 14. When I was 14, I'm 21 right now. When I was 14, around that time I was doing YouTube. I grew to about 100 and something subscribers, and I was making like 2K content. But I feel like it was always something missing with just like, you know, the content. Like I enjoyed making it, but it was always something that I had to fulfill. It was like a void. And then I started doing music, and it was bad. It was bad at first. Like my first song, Dreams to Keep, my uncle back there, he knows what I'm talking about. But Dreams to Keep it was meaningful, but the audio of it was just bad and everything like that. But, you know, it still means something to me because it's like this. It's like a milestone in my career, you know, the creation of something, you know, the beginning of something.
Can we talk to the significance of the tattoo now that you kind of mentioned, you know, this is a milestone for you?
Yeah.
Can you describe what that milestone is and like how that tattoo reflects that?
Yeah, so, you know, it's just, I didn't really consider an EP or a project, at least not this soon. I know that I would be dropping a lot of music this summer, but I never really thought about like what you know, me putting it together until I spoke with my brother, and he was like, he's the one that makes the calls. He's like one of the main reasons this is coming out. He was like, we need music. Like I sent all my unreleased music to him. He was like, we need music. You starving us right now. I was like, okay. So I make up for it and create this body of work. And then for some reason, when I had the clear direction of where I want to go with this piece, everything like really just fell in line. Like it was a lot easier to make songs towards this direction. And I always dig deep, but for some reason, this just came natural. Like it flowed easily. Like I could make, you know, songs that would implement or, you know, capture the story amazingly, you know. But it was really fun, and I'm just glad that it's really authentic, and it's not me trying to, you know, fake certain things, because certain things, and it did happen, but it's also different perceptions that I can tell from other individuals, you know. Yeah. So I enjoy it just because you know, anybody can put themselves in the shoes of this person. That's why this character doesn't have a name. That's why I just call him Introspect, because it's more like a figure. You know, it's just like a figure that embodies the word, you know. And through each song, you like see, like if you know The Weeknd, how he went through like his Starboy phase and how he really lived that character. I make sure like all of the content that I'm putting out towards this is, you know, strictly about this character right now.
Can you describe some of that content for us?
So this character, he's, you know, I don't want to say depressed, but like I said, dark character, kind of just self-reflects a lot. On Instagram, I post a lot of videos of him doing certain things. Like one of my videos, it's a red room, red LEDs, and he's just sitting on a couch, and I'm kind of like flicking between different takes, and then in the background, you see like a ghost walking through, just back and forth. It kind of just shows him like pondering and like him just kind of out of whack, you know. So this character is really just going crazy, you know. He's writing down stuff in his book, and then he records stuff. He just sits down and he's really just in his mind. And I really feel like that embodies, you know, a version of who I am. Because I always stick to myself, and always just, you know, stay focused no matter what the atmosphere is. Make sure I don't let my environment define me, but define my environment. You know, that's why I have Create Your Reality tattooed on me, because everything that I have, it represents, you know, some shape or form of my life, you know, something that I live by, you know, so I definitely make sure it's seen, you know.
Now, you mentioned an earlier song not too long ago, Anti. And I know we're looking onto the new, but I just want to put it out there. Like, Anti
I like
was
that song.
It's actually a personal favorite of mine. It, like, on my Apple playlist, it moved to like my most frequently played.
Really?
Yeah, love that song. And we actually interviewed Rekka at one point to talk about the process for the music video.
My dog.
Yeah, shout out to Shop
like
by Rekka.
We like these, my dog.
But I want to talk about the growth in your music coming from like a place like Anti. I think according to Apple Music, came out in 2023, and we're looking to release this EP June.
Yeah, June 18th of this year.
So in the past couple of years, just in the past couple of years, how has your music grown? How's your technique, your style?
I've been experimenting a lot more with my singing. Because I don't want to fit into that rapper thing. Like, I can rap. Majority of my uncles rap. My one uncle, Messy Monk, my other uncle, Flip, and my other uncle, Spaz, they all rapped and have like a rapping background. But I like to switch it up, and I like to show like I'm versatile, I can sing. You know, I didn't come from money where it's like I could have grown up with lessons or I could have grown up with vocal coaches. I kind of just took what I had and ran with it. I was on YouTube doing vocal warm-ups all the time. And like, I'm in college now. Nobody else in my family been in college. So I'm just really trying to set the standard for my family and my siblings, you know. So when they get older, they can be like, he did it, you know, I can do it too. So everything, I'm just kind of like doing this now so they can use me like a walking stone, or just like a resemblance of, you know, the strength that they could find when they're older. Because everybody has like a weak time or a weak moment where it's like, I don't know if I can do this. And then you think like, who else did something like this? Nobody's going through this. Nobody went through this. But when you have somebody that you can resort to and you know, it's like, oh, that's right. You know, this person did that. And if they did that, I can do that too. You know, so I want to be that person for them and, you know, just everybody in general, for the whole Wilmington community. You know, like, you don't have to come from money to look like it, you know? Because I talk to a lot of people and they say, you definitely don't look like where you came from. And I don't. But I do it on purpose, because you don't get endorsed by reflecting your environment, especially if it's full of poverty. You get endorsed by becoming an asset and equipping the tools that'll keep you sharp, you know? So I utilize that. And, you know, I talk to my boy Trill G, and he, you know, he always give me game on and stuff. And I appreciate that, because I never had like a mentor, like a big homie, except for my brother, you know, and my uncles, of course. But besides that, like music industry wise, I definitely appreciate him. And the TME team, because they all look out, and I make sure, you know, it's reflected on the people that come after me.
Sounds like being self-made too is pretty important to you.
Yeah.
Like, kind of taking the environment you have, the resources you have, regardless of how little it may seem,
Right.
and kind of really building that up. And you are an independent artist, correct?
Yes.
You're not signed to anything. How important is it for you to stay independent?
It's really important. I look after people like La Russell, where he showed that you don't need a label to be financially free or financially stable. I don't know if I'm going to speak. I feel like I should. Even though I'm still a smaller musician, you know, one day that'll be different. I'll be selling out venues and we'll play back this clip. But you know, it's important for you to understand, because it's a game that everybody plays, and why not, you know, participate? You know, why not help people participate? You know, like if I say ISRC, you know, people don't know what that is. you know, I understand if you don't know what it is, if you aren't into music, but if you are trying to take this serious and you are trying to, you know, get your family out of the hood, then you gotta know this stuff. But like, you can't blame these people because we aren't taught. I'm only taught because I won't stop until I know. You know, I question everything. And sometimes it feel like I'm nagging or like I'm, you know, being irritating, but I just feel like always ask why to everything, you know, always critique everything. Everything can be critiqued, and that's how you understand, that's how you learn. You know, I graduated high school with 4.0 GPA, you know, and I played sports and everything, you know, so, and like I said, it's not like I came from a good background because it was issues then and there. I didn't stay with my mom or my dad, you know, so defining your reality and just controlling your future in that way can set you up, can set your family up, and it's for real out here, so you want to make sure you do what you can.
As an independent artist, what kind of obstacles do you face besides not having the resources or the knowledge, which you are doing everything you can to gain those?
Yeah.
So the pursuit of it doesn't seem to be a problem. What kind of obstacles can you share that maybe like another independent artist watching this can learn from?
I would say, might be able to give you two. So back to the ISRCs, register all your music. All of the music that you make, it's a lot of money from all of those streams that you collect. It's a lot of money left over, no matter if it's overseas, no matter where it is. Make sure you give credits to all of the people. Don't go out here stealing these beats. I had to learn a while, like I had to learn it the hard way. Don't go out here stealing beats, even though if it's expensive. Just do it. You'll build a relationship that might last forever. But register your ISRCs, UPCs. Make sure you get credit for the hard work that you put in to your music. With me, it's not about the money. It's about, you know, making sure I'm stable and still able to do what I want to do. Because I refuse to be like making music and then people be like, oh, you still doing your little music thing, your little side thing. Like my boy Rekka, my videographer, my brother, he knows since middle school I was on it. You know, funny story, one time I had this, I don't know if I can say it, but I had this song, and for one of the lines I was like, something, 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 shoot her in her titty. And it was so funny. But at the time, it was like hilarious. He said it in class one time and got kicked out of class. But this was me in middle school making music from my phone and Apple headphones. Horrible quality, but the passion was always there. You know, every high school, middle school, whatever it is, I always left knowing what I wanted to do and be in life. It was just about taking advantage of, you know, opportunities and just doing what I got to do. You know, because the hardest thing is having a passion, but not having a direction of where you want to take it. You know, so I always, even with this EP, Introspect, it was always, you know, there for me to think about, like, what character do I want to portray? How can people remember me? Ice Spice has the orange hair. Sexy Red has the red hair. You know, people have their image, and I sit and I think, I'm like, how can, you know, because I have blonde hair. Anybody can. Young Thug, Lil Durk, they all had it, you know. But how can people remember me, and how can people remember a character? So I feel like this character that I'm playing, I'm not saying that I'll stay with it, but it'll forever be there because it's genuine and it's always a part of me, no matter where I go, you know, especially with this tattoo. It's always a part of me.
Speaking of which, how's it feeling so far?
I'm good.
You have a high pain tolerance, or?
I don't know. I'm chilling. I enjoy just talking about this stuff.
How are you doing down there, Marie?
We actually moved pretty fast.
Oh man, well let's get into some more of it, man. You spoke about the pursuit of knowledge, and like, especially if you don't have the knowledge, you make sure you question things and try to figure out the answer so you have it, so you're able to move forward. And you also mentioned that you're in your junior year of college. Can you talk about what you're doing in school and like how that's going to help you kind of move forward with what you're doing now?
Yeah, so I'm a music production major. I won't say exactly what school because that would be doxing myself. But I'm a music production major, and I don't need it. You know, I've spoken with people that's in the industry, and you know, they tell me, they say you don't need it because half of the, to be honest, you really don't, because a lot of the stuff that I've already learned didn't come from school. Like I know music theory at an advanced level because of school and composition, but to make it and to be, you know, proficient at, you know, music production or any like audio engineering, you can just watch YouTube videos. You know, that's how I learn. I taught myself how to audio engineer from YouTube. I bought my own, you know, studio equipment. Also for the beginners, make sure you start with something simple. This is always like a question that I get on my page. A lot of people always say, how do you start? You know, how do I get started? A lot of people are on BandLab. Respect. You know, because I started with something called Rap Chat, and it was, the auto-tune was just horrible. Horrible. But make sure you start at least with a Scarlett interface, any microphone. You know, it's some really good ones out there. I can't think off the top right now. But try to get some, you know, bass level good headphones. I have the Bayer Dynamics, really good 250s. And make sure you got a good DAW. Like I said, BandLab is actually really good now. And yeah, you know, it's always good to shed light on the knowledge that you know. And definitely don't gatekeep, because I wouldn't be this far if it was for, you know, everybody that I know gatekeeping, you know. So it's always good to bless other people, especially, you know, in this, like, it doesn't matter if you benefit. I like seeing other people shine. You know, just do right with the information that you get. Do right by it and just do it to, you know, its full potential. You know, don't doubt yourself. Don't, you know, tarnish yourself. You'll always critique yourself, but just understand that, like, you only do this because you love it so much. So remember that. Just keep going. It's going to get hard. Sometimes you might go through like 3-4 beats just to make one amazing song, you know, but that's the process that you had to go through. And, you know, it's no problem with that at all. That's you. You know, that one song that you made might be better than other people's, 10 other songs. So, you know, it can get personal in there. Like, it's no issues. And that's something that I usually have to face a lot. Because I rather, like I said, be authentic and just, you know, spill my heart out in the microphone than say anything about popping pills or, you know, shooting, because anybody can do that. But, you know, what's really going to grow in the listener is when you tell them something that they don't want to face. You know, it's kind of like therapy. It's literally therapy, you know, for free. So, yeah, I enjoy it, and it's like the best thing that happened to my life. Yeah.
Marie, do you have any questions or anything on your mind? I know you're busy over there doing your thing.
I know she cooking right now.
Yeah. I mean, I'm always curious about like the first performance that you have, how it was, because like sometimes people talking about, oh, it was in the school and it was horrible. I want to hear the story that's like, yeah, I go on the stage and everyone was like crazy. Do you have the story of your first performance in front of the people? Because being an artist, being a musician is not only be in a booth.
Yeah.
It's also stand outside, come out to the people, talk to the people with your songs. I mean, can you open up a little bit about that? It was about your first performance and how it's changed from there to now.
Yeah. Being an artist, especially, you know, like an authentic artist, it's this. You live it, you know. You live who you are, you know, no matter where you go. You know, so when I did my first performance, it was really eye-opening to me because it's something that it's a door that opened for me, you know, through TME. I really appreciate them for my first performance. It's a door that opened for me that seemed impossible, because you don't really hear about the small performances or shows. It's usually for, you know, the big people, or, you know, so they say. But when you do it, it really just makes your dreams into, you know, concrete. You know, you sit there afterwards. Like, I remember after my first show, I sat there during a car ride, like staring out of the window, like one of those old 2000 movies, and where they be like, "Take me home," you know, and he's like, "Where?" Everything was just like easy going, like, you know, nothing really mattered except for that one moment. And, you know, I got nervous. That never goes away. That never goes away. It might be smaller, you know, but it never goes away. But the thing is, you just gotta remember, like I said before, you only feel like this because you care about it. You know, I went up there, and it's like I got into this character. Like, before going up there, I was like nervous, and I was like, I don't know how they feel about it. They rocked out, you know. It was amazing. It was an amazing experience. But I got up there, and it was like everything clicked, and everything that I worked for in that moment, just it mounted right there, you know. Especially because I got to perform Anti, and that's like one of the only songs or first songs that I showed my mom. And, you know, she got her, we might be able to talk about it, but, you know, she had her past stuff going on. So for me to, you know, see her for like the first time in a while, and to actually get to show that song to her, it meant a lot for me. So that's why Anti still has like is a place in my heart, because it really means a lot to me. You know, I had to talk with Mama. She seen me on a jet. That's why I said, and it's real. You know, she still said it to this day. And, you know, I make sure my lyrics are true, like, you know, creative but true. You know, so everything in there, in some way, shape, or form, has happened. It might be like a little, you know, like exaggeration. Sure. You know, it might have been 2 in reality, but when the thing is 10, 15, but it happened, you know. So I still make sure I show that story and show the pain, because you have to. You know, I feel like it makes the audience really grow close to you. I used to look up to this artist, XXXTentacion, and as you probably know, he passed away. And he always made sure to like include his supporters and just like implement the knowledge that he knew into, you know, his shows and through his music and everything like that. We can talk more about that when we talk about like frequency and stuff, but
we can get into that now if you want to.
Hey, we can. So, music, right, is deeper than just, you know, surface level for me. I sat like a mad scientist in my room for a while. So one time I was in high school. I would sit with this teacher, you know, while he had class, because it was like a study ed, right? And he would print out these papers for me, and I would be sitting there writing down notes, like just about simple music facts, like compression does this, ratio does this, EQ does this, you know, these ranges control this. And I would be sitting there like I was supposed to be doing my work in some sense, you know, still had good grades. So I'm like, okay, I'll handle my handle, but I always put the music first, you know. So I did that. He would print out the papers, and then my room is still up to this day. If I go down to Delaware, I have like these papers on my wall where it's like taped, and it's a whole bunch of music facts, and it's like, Kamira, don't forget, ratio, de-esser, compression, does this, do this for your master, do this for your mix. So, you know, I really just took that and rendered it. So with the frequency, to make a long story short.
We can make a long story long. That's a podcast.
I don't want to yap too much.
On a podcast?
Hey, listen, I can yap. So for the frequency, right? Each frequency controls or alters a different part of the brain. They can also, I got this from XXXTentacion. and he broke it down where you can alter, you know, different parts of the brain. You can make somebody feel like this through a different frequency. So you know, a lot of musicians don't consider how their supporters would, you know, feel after the song. They just say, oh, I'm gonna get my stream and I'm gonna leave. You know, their one stream is currency. But me, because I listen to my own music, you know, I like to feel good afterwards. So I usually like to set my frequency to 432 because it's more of a common frequency. And plus my music gives off that common feel anyway. So why not do it to, you know, its full potential when you can, when you have the knowledge. And that's something that a lot of people, they don't care, because if you aren't working on your own music, they just, you know, do the mix master, bounce it out, send it to you. But they don't go into the scientifics. That's why it's always important for you to have full control and full hands on whatever you're creating, you know. So I really feel like you need to prioritize having your own studio. It's really important. I graduated high school 2022. I worked for a year, built my studio. The best decision I ever made in my life. Best decision I ever made in my life. Because if I wouldn't have, I probably would have been thinking, you know, what if I didn't go straight to college? And, you know, my music probably would have been bad still. You know, I got my studio equipment, and then like my sound improved a lot. Interface can go a long way. It can go a long way. Microphones, not so much, like it can, but it doesn't really matter as much, because I use my Rode NT1A microphone, and I have a more expensive microphone that I just keep in a box tucked away, because I really like, it doesn't feel like warm to me, like not comfortable to me. You know, I can EQ however much I can or want to it, but it still doesn't do it for me like this one microphone does. So utilize your ear always, and make sure you always put your comfort first when it comes to your you know, studio environment. No matter what you got to do, LEDs, lights, you know, everything. It's about being comfortable.
Yeah, and that's really kind of it's really kind of like digging into being the independent artist, kind of being self-sufficient.
Right.
Yeah, obviously that's really important to you, and it reflects that. And
yeah, it's just crucial, because back when I was 14, you know, I'm not going to name drop, but I was doing contracting, and it was this guy, you know, shout out to him, not, not throwing him under the bus, but I would go to his studio, and I'm only 14, you know. So he had his own studio equipment. At that time, I didn't yet. So I'm like, oh, this is tough. So, you know, I made a song with him called Losing Me. And it just wasn't doing it for me. Like, I could just hear how nervous I was. I could hear the audio was just like bad, you know, and I listened to it afterwards, and I was bumping it on the way home. But years later, I sit and I'm like, yeah, this gotta go. It's going to the privates. I don't even know if it's up anymore. I think I took it down. But now it's just like, I do it myself, and it's so much better, and it's cheaper. You know, it's one big investment that'll save you so much money. I used to pay $40 an hour at 14 doing contracting. The income wasn't stable at all, but I made sure, you know, no matter what I did, it was going straight to the music. Like, I've always been a person to invest straight into my career over shoes, anything. Like, I'll have my shoes or whatever and make sure I'm good, but I always put my career in all of those utilities in the forefront, always, because it'll save you in the long run, you know. I don't even have a car yet because of music. My equipment is like, I'm telling you, it comes first. It'll come, but I want to make sure I could sit down and make money, you know? Mm-hmm. I always believe that you can do anything in this world, but do it right. You know, utilize it, create an asset. If you want to party every day, you want to live your life out at a club, live stream it, record videos. You know, try to maximize your finances in some way. If you want to live this life, do it. Become a YouTuber and show what it's like, because you can live that and also show other people. You know, so I just feel like, you know, you really have free will. If you really want to, you would do it. You know, it's plenty of people that told me it's risky. I had teachers telling me not to do it. It's not stable. And I said, it's not stable for you, but it'll be for me. You know, just the fact that you throw out that, you know, that statement, you know, it contradicts yourself. You know, because what you tell people is how you see yourself. You know, so don't go around telling people they can't do something. You can do anything. You know, if that was the fact, I wouldn't be here. You can do anything, you know. People say, you know, people that don't have both of their parents, or, you know, neither one of their parents raised them, they'll go to jail or dead or whatever. You know, I have my grandparents, have my uncles, like I'm good. And I'm doing way better than, you know, a majority of the people did. So, I mean, I'm fine. You know, not to throw them under the bus, but like I'm just, like I'm just, you know, you can do anything. And I just hate the mentality, like the crab in the barrel of, you know, pulling people down and telling people, you know, to mitigate how far they can shoot because of the reality of the world, when the reality is only reality because that's what you set it to be, you know? So either way, you're going to live your truth. However you see yourself is how you're going to reflect on others. So that's all that is.
For lack of better terms, that was pretty introspective.
Yeah, yes, sir. Yes, sir.
And I mean, you're only 21.
Yes, sir.
I'm an old fart at 34. So
that's it.
I mean, whatever. But, you know,
I would say 27. You give me 27.
Oh, thank you. You heard that, Marie?
Yeah.
27.
I'll go with it, man.
He's not only a good singer, he's also a good liar.
Listen, I don't lie. The only thing you got in this life
is your word. You just slightly exaggerate. No.
You definitely. I don't see no grays in there unless you dye it.
That's why I wear a hat.
Okay, all right. Well.
No, it's not that crazy, but I brought up the age, not like, I don't mean it like in a negative way or anything like that, but just being 21, like being very introspective at this age. Right. And I think that if you kind of continue on this path, like when you get to this old fart age that I'm at and you look back at this and you're kind of further along, I think you're going to look back at this and just kind of really appreciate where you came from.
Right.
Like not only like your mindset, but also like the investments you made, the work that you've done, I mean, the education that you're getting. You know, you're really close to that. So I just wanted to kind of point that out, you know, like, and being your first podcast, hopefully there's many more for you out there.
Yeah.
You know,
this will always be home now. This is where it started right here. You know, so I always got to make sure to pay homage. Like my first show, I always talk about TME. Always pay homage. Always got to pay homage to the people that, you know, get you in the door. Always.
How are we looking, Marie?
I mean, we're really close to the end.
Really close to the end.
Yeah.
And how are you feeling about the tattoo? Like, I know you're excited to see it, but just like if the feeling, how's she, I mean?
Oh, I'm good. I mean.
How many tattoos do you currently have?
I got this one, Trust in God. This took like 7 hours. Jeez. This one I did at home is bad. I think I'm gonna get it covered. It's a heartbreak tattoo, well, broken heart, and it say diverse. And I got another one on my leg that says create your reality. And now I'm about to have this one.
So what's that? I lost count. It's like, what, 5 or 6?
Yeah. It's something like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It'll be 5 with this one.
Nice, man. And pain level compared to the other ones?
On a scale of 1 to 10?
Sure.
Maybe a 5.
Really?
Yeah.
I've got the same area tattoo. No, I think I got a little lower down the leg tattooed. And I think it was like an 11 for me, man.
Really?
Yeah, Marie.
She might be going lighter on me. I don't know.
You're just talking about that sometimes people can be like disbelieve in you, like trying to make you feel not worth it, you know, like, oh, you can't do it, why you do
They try
this?
to make you deviate from your path.
Yeah, but you still on a path. You not say, oh yeah, if someone who I trust is like a teacher or like family member, don't say anything like that. Who supports you? Because I'm sure it's not come from nowhere. So I know you said you have rappers, uncles, right?
As I want to say, my grandparents, you know, because
They're a bigger supporter?
Yeah, just because I recently had my mom actually in one of my songs. She was like praying. She always pray over me, and I wanted to make sure I show that part of my life in a song. But really, you know, my grandparents, because I feel like I kind of lived through, or they lived through me, kind of, you know, both ways. You know, they show me what it's like to be respectful and to have morals and to respect yourself and your autonomy, and just understanding that, you know, because of course at first they weren't like, you know, go out, make music and, you know, it'll work 100%. But they saw how passionate I was and how much like I sacrificed for this already. And they was like, if you believe in this, then do it. Like my mom, after I graduated high school, I was like, I don't really want to go to college. Like I'm smart, but I don't really want to go to college because I feel like we don't have the finances for it. Like still, I'm still every semester I'm like scrambling for money to pay off. But I feel like I've been taking the risk all my life. So why not gamble again? You know, you gamble every day. You know, so why not give yourself the best chance? You know, pick yourself for the bet. You know, to gamble. Where you got full control over what you do, you know. And the only person that can stop you, like they say, is you, you know. So why listen to people that don't have the credentials? And, you know, that's something my grandparents always did, and I respect it, especially my pop, because he wake up 4 a.m. every day. He get up, work, you know, go to sleep after he get back from work, come back, do it all over again. And, you know, he didn't really put himself first. He put us first, you know, to make sure that we was good. You know, despite our environment, he made sure he showed us what being a man was and was, you know, what it was like, you know. So even though he was like, you know, you could get a job and this, that's because that's what he was taught. And that's usually safe for them. But I'm not here to play it safe. So, you know, why not risk it all while you're here? You know, because it's like Final Destination. You never know when it's going to be a time. So risk it all, you know, but don't be dumb. Stay prayed up and just be strategic with every move that you make. It's like chess, you know. That was a great question. And
now it's going to be a great spicy feeling. It's going to be cold water. Just to let you know. So you not be shocked.
How's it looking there?
It's good.
Is it done or are you just cleaning it?
Yeah, it's done.
Really?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah. It looks really, really red right now. Not the red in a way, like puffy.
Yeah.
Yep.
Awesome.
Perfect.
All right, so Meirdy, how you feeling there?
Feeling good. I'm feeling good. It was really nice. It was really nice. It was smooth, way better than I thought. Well, not way, but it was really smooth. It was really smooth. I still rate the pain. I'll put it up 1, maybe a 6, but it wasn't, you know. I enjoyed it though. I enjoyed it. I enjoyed it. I enjoyed it.
Well, thank you for being on the platform. And before we sign off, I just want to, that's your camera there, just let the people know where to find you and what to look out for.
My name is Meirdy, Meirdy, and I'm an up-and-coming musician from Wilmington, Delaware. June 18th, I have a 4-song EP coming your way. And then after that, y'all get a flow of a whole lot more songs. And you know, hopefully y'all enjoy it. Hopefully y'all see the character that I'm embodying for that. And you know, it's gonna be amazing. I really just hope y'all enjoy it as much as I do, you know.
And we want to thank the uncle here for support, man. You want to let the people know who you are real fast?
Yeah, my name, I'm on Instagram, FBA_FabFlip. And it's my nephew, man. So I'm on it.
OG right there, really on.
That being said, picture time?
Yeah, the picture time.
I've been feeling the change on my, I don't know what to say. Like it's on me,